Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to my channel, to my bookland, and to our coffee times together. And today I have for you my evilathon TBR pile.
It's coffee time!
I am going to attempt to complete the 10 challenges, not only because this readathon is my baby, it is my first attempt at a readathon, but also because I need more horror. I need to read more horror. For the most part of this year I have not read enough, so this is my way of compensating now. So I have chosen 10 books and I think there is one extra, so let's go and check them out and see all of the books that I am planning to read on the month of November for the evilathon. It is a very challenging kind of TBR pile, but we're gonna try. The first challenge is Carrie, to read something with red on the cover, and I had on my TBR for the longest time Breed by Chase Novak. I even have the second book, so I need to get to it, and it has red on the cover, and it's about this family that cannot have children, and they go to kind of undergo a very shady kind of not kosher procedure somewhere, I think in Slovakia, I don't know, and then they end up having twins, but there's something with the twins that's not right. So sounded something that I would enjoy, and it's praised by Stephen King, so you know I'm a sucker when it says somewhere in the cover that Stephen King liked it. I'll buy that. Yeah, so I'm super excited, and it's also not too long. It is under 400 pages, which is good for a readathon. Next is Needful Things. It's to read a book of your favorite horror genre, and for that I've chosen Asylum by Madeleine Rouge, because I love everything that has to do with psychiatric asylums, hospitals, haunted places. And this one has pictures and stuff in it and text, and I thought it looked pretty creepy. And it is about this 16-year-old that goes to college, and basically the housing that they go to used to be a mental facility or something like that, and while they're exploring there, the building, they might see things that they're not supposed to see or find, I don't know, but it sounds interesting and I hope to like it because this is a series, so I will be able to continue with the next book. Next challenge, The Dead Zone, is to read a book with undead, and it can be a vampire, a ghost, a zombie, whatever you want. So for this I have chosen Dying to Live, Life Sentence. Now this is the second part. I read Dying to Live a couple years ago and really loved it. It was a short, fast-paced zombie post-apocalyptic kind of scenario. Reminded me a little bit of The Walking Dead, so I really enjoyed it. I've heard the second book, which is this one, was not as great, but I bought it. I had it on my TBR pile for a while, and I think it's the perfect time now to read it because it's also not too chunky. So I would like to revisit a little bit the story and the characters, and it's 212 pages only, so should be totally doable. I still hope to enjoy it, even though I've heard mixed reviews about it. But if you're looking for a quick zombie book for this challenge, or in general, I recommend you to pick up the first book. So in case you're wondering, this is the first book. This is how it looks like, and it matches the second one. And it's also, I believe, 200 and something pages. It's 239 pages. So it is a nice short read about zombies. Challenge number 4 is A Bag of Bones, which is to read a book about a murder, serial killer, something like that. Some kind of thriller-ish with murders in it. And for that I have picked Endless Night by Richard Lehman. This is a very recent purchase of mine. I heard this is a very disturbing story in which a family, I believe, gets slaughtered by a killer. So I'm willing to give it a try. Absolutely love this kind of vintage looking cover where you can see here the family on the knife. That it's fantastic. So this is a bit of a chunky one. It is 460 something pages, so I'm going to be using this one to double up with the over 400 pages one. For the next challenge, challenge number 5, The Outsider, which is to read something out of your comfort zone. I'm gonna pick a book that I thought I would not pick up because probably just judging it by the cover. And that is The Merciless by Danielle Vega. I always thought this would be a cheesy attempt of a horror story for young adults, but it has been informed I have been informed that it is gory and nice and spooky, and that I would enjoy it, so I am willing to give it a try. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone because it's a book that I already kind of decided not to read, but I'm willing to give it a try. Also because the recommendation came from Ola and I love her, so I'm gonna give it a try, and I might love it more than I think I will. It's probably one of those books that you have a totally different perception of the book, of what the book is really about. Do I make sense right now? And you know, those books that you're like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy it, but then if you give it a chance, it might actually surprise you. So I hope it's going to be one that it's gonna surprise me. Challenge number 6 is It, Face Your Fears. So I've always said the thing that I'm really scared of is death, because it's the only thing you don't know what's gonna happen after you die, basically. And there is these stories of people that have been abducted, kidnapped, and murdered, and I always think it's so effed up, but it happens so often, way more than we would like to know. And so I chose one of those true crime stories, and I chose The Boy in the Attic by David Malone. This is a book that is telling the real life story of a kid, I believe, that was murdered as a part of a satanic murder, and it was Ireland in the 1900s. Yeah, but I am super intrigued about this because it's a true crime story that I don't know about, and it has even pictures of the investigation and everything, so I am super excited about it. And it's also a shorter book. It's around 220 pages, so it's perfect for a readathon. Next challenge is The Shining, and for this one you have to read something that has a haunted place. It could be a car, a house, an asylum, a hospital, I don't know, a whole town, a shop, wherever you want. And for this I chose something in a different format, and that is Lock and Key by Joe Hill, just because I've had this volume for a little bit and I really want to read it. I really want to. And it is about this mansion that there's these keys, it's haunted, so perfect. It's perfect. And it's also an excuse for me to buy volume 2 after I read this one. I mean, just look at it. It is fantastic. So yeah, I'll be reading this one as my haunted place challenge. Challenge number 8 is The Long Walk, Go Big or Go Home. And it's to read a book over 400 pages. And like I said earlier, I'm going to use Endless Night for that challenge as well, so that, you know, I don't have to read 2 chunky books in 1 month, because that can be really challenging and it might not allow me to get to all of the challenges. So this is the only one that I'm going to double up. Challenge number 9 is Dr. Sleep, to read a whole book while you are in bed. So I chose The Taking of Annie Thorne by CJ Tudor because I did enjoy The Chalkman. I know it had some things that were not that great and people had maybe higher expectations, but I thought that it was good, and I just thought that, you know, it was the first book by this author. It was her debut novel, so I wanted to see more of the author after that first book, and this is her second book, so I grabbed it and I think I would like to give it a try this November for the evilathon and see if I enjoy it more than I did the debut novel. And the last challenge is Different Seasons, to read a couple of short horror stories. And because during the Monsterathon I read a couple of horror stories from a book but I did not finish it, I'm gonna, you know, keep reading stories from that book, and that is Unnatural Creatures, and it's stories chosen by Neil Gaiman. So I read 3 of these short stories for the Monsterathon, but there are still many more in here, so I think I'm gonna pick a couple of this book to keep reading it, and maybe by the end of the year I'm being very positive right now, maybe I'll be able to finish it. But the stories are very diverse and really interesting, so I think it will be cool to read a couple of more from this one. And because this is 9 books, because I'm doubling up this one, I decided to add 1 more book to make it 10, and it's also a book that I really want to read, and it does feed one of the challenges at least, which is to have something red in the cover, and that is The Chain by Adrienne McKinty. This is a new release that was released this year in 2019. And it is about when your kid gets kidnapped, you can get your kid back if you help kidnap another kid, and it becomes kind of like a chain. So I've heard mixed reviews, mostly people telling me that they had a bit higher expectations, but it was still an okay read. So I will see what I think about it, but I thought that the idea was great and I definitely wanted to check it out. It's one of the books that I got in Waterstones, and I got the signed copy and I was so excited, so I want to try to read it before the end of the year. So here is my TBR pile for the evilathon. In the end is 8 books, 1 graphic novel, and then a couple of short stories from this book, which is totally doable. I am dying to see your videos with your TBR piles. If you don't have a booktube channel but you do post a TBR pile on your Instagram, on your Twitter, just put the link down below so I can check it out, or use the hashtag evilathon so that I can find you. And I'm so excited, you guys. I just cannot wait. I can't believe that I finally did it, that I finally created a readathon, and I am super nervous and excited at the same time, and I hope you guys are excited as well. I hope that you are ready to read some horror with me, and feel free anytime to reach out to me if you need 1 or 2 extra recommendations for a challenge, because maybe you don't know what to do. I'll be happy to help you. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Please give the video a big thumbs up for support. Subscribe if you're new here and you're not subscribed yet, and click on the notification bell so you don't miss any more coffee times with me. If you have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or Goodreads, I do have accounts there as well. The links to those social media will be listed in the description box down below, and I hope to see you all guys in the next coffee time. Bye!